Alright freaks, I'm gonna give this my first ever cut. This is the yard I picked up last week. Man, it rained and everything's wet, so I hope it actually will look pretty good. Alright, got me a couple before and after pictures. Time to kick this mother. Well, that wasn't so bad after all. It was a good yard. It's been maintained pretty good. I got the edges looking real nice. I was nervous to see what she would think of my cut, because even though I know I'm good, you never know what a person will think. You know, if they say, "Oh, it could have been shorter," or "You cut it too short," or "I don't like your edging," or whatever. But she was very pleased with it, and as a matter of fact, her neighbor across the street was talking to her out there in front and told me, just come on over and make a bid on her yard. I'm going to walk you over there and let you see. So I put my bid down and I got that gig too. Now it's weekly and it's going to be every Tuesday, just like the one right across the street and the one down the street. So now I have 4 on this block. It's just that simple. I show up to do a new yard for the first time today. I do a good job, and you're friendly, and the neighbors are friendly with each other, and you end up getting another one. This lady can't keep up with her yard anymore. She's too busy. She likes it nice, but she hasn't even got all the leaves out of her flower beds and stuff yet. So, looks like it's my job, and I'm happy. I'm happy about it. My route is getting tighter and more full. At this point, I'm maxed out. I don't have enough hours available to me to work to add any more yards. I have to get rid of people as I get people. And I get rid of like a bi-weekly lawn, and I give them to somebody else in town, and the guy does a good job. But I'll never pass up a neighbor or across the street or 3 doors down or even a block around. You know, if they're a weekly yard and it's nice, then I'll keep them. I'll add them to my list. See right there, I scalped it. I got the big mower in, and I made one pass around with it, and it scalped. And I could see a couple more dips out in the yard, and I go, you know what? I'm just going to put it back. And I went ahead and used a push mower on the whole thing, and it wasn't that hard. I prefer the people's yard to look really good. So if it means I have a little bit more walking to do, it takes me a little bit longer. That's just how it's going to be. Not every lawn is perfectly level, and you know, you gotta cut them at the correct height with the correct mower. You gotta lay down a good edge. You want things to look properly, because this is what represents your company right here. You represent your company, but your work represents it. I did a good job across the street, and I end up with the next yard. So that's how you do it. I'm gonna get back in here and go have some more fun. To the guy walking the dog, so I do his yard. I actually have 4 of them now. The new one, and 2 behind me. So let me just show you how tight my routes are and why I'm not looking to get a 0 turn and go out farther. If I showed you on a map where my house was compared to all these lawns, you guys would freak out. So I left there, and I drive right around the corner here. And that's my Wednesday yard. And that's my Wednesday yard. But today's Tuesday. So we're gonna go on down the street here. This guy's got a lawn service. He's got a basket on his trailer. He has a grasshopper mower. Now we have 4 more yards. This is my yard. I did it yesterday. And then, of course, you've seen these before. I'm doing this one today. And I got that one and the other one right there.
and a car's coming, and I'm going to go right around the other corner and get me a Gatorade. So that's how you set it up. And once you get it like this, you're not going to want to expand into a different area. It's amazing how 1 yard in the neighborhood leads to more. Go up a quick trip here, see if anybody else is out. All right, well, there was somebody at Quick Trip. Dooley's Lawn Service. What do you got? It's a Husqvarna, 0-turn, couple push mowers, truck and a trailer, trimmer and blower. He's in business. What do I see up here, boys? This guy's gonna go make some money. Didn't want to make him feel bad like I was filming him or anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Make your money. Alright, freaks, I was going to film this yard for you, but when I pulled up, they were setting up a yard sale. And so I went up and talked to them, and they said, no, go ahead and cut. We're not going to have a yard sale till tomorrow. Today's Thursday. So, yeah, it's kind of wacky when you have a yard sale going. Do the front yard a small mower, and I was going to show you the backyard. It's butted up against another yard that I do too, right around the block. But since they're out and about, we'll film that one in the future. All right, guys, it's Thursday. Things just went from bad to worse. I got started. Dude, this came out of nowhere. It's been sunny and hot, and there's this giant black cloud following me around, just pouring on me. Yeah, I found a snake skin. Keep that. Here's the problem. My AC just went out in here. I'm not gonna turn it on. Blows out hot air. It just started all at once. Dude, I am screwed. Shit, my money's getting wet. Check. She stuck it right there. Alright, I gotta figure this out. Alright, freaks, I got my money. The most upsetting part is my AC went out the truck. Man, this cloud, there's sunlight all the way around it, but it's just sitting right here, drenching us. It sucks. All my equipment's still out there. Getting kind of hot in here. Getting kind of hot. Well, old Snapper got a bath. I waited it out. Let's just see what happens when I try and cut this. All right, here we go. So when you get in these weird situations where a black cloud is just hovering over your head, don't freak out too much. It's going to go away eventually. But in this case, I knew it was going away. It was one of those circle clouds you could see all around the outside. Just hang on, Greg. Blue skies are coming your way. But until then, everything was getting trashed, soaked to the bone, right? And that was me and the mowers. So right now, I'm back out here and I'm aware that there are puddles. I could rut things up easily. And I could also shoot wet, clumpy grass into the landscaping very easily because it will build up under your mower and then it just like pressure, boom, it just explodes out of there and it'll go flying even farther than you think the regular dry grass will go. And it sticks and it's clumpy. It's not cool. So right here, even though I have the chute blocker on, I'm making sure I'm going extra passes away from the house with it blowing out that way. And I'm doing, it the hard way, right? I'm going over and back and forth a few things because I do not want any of that wet stuff to discharge into the flower beds. And also, it's not going to look like it would if it was dry. And unfortunately, this yard was super tall too. Now you can see in the backyard, look how tall it is. And this is 1 week's growth. Yep, 7 days. Because the time of year, super hot, super wet, perfect sunshine for grass growing. I mean, you can go to a yard, cut it, and it really need cut 5 days later. But if they're on a weekly schedule, hey, that's what they paid for, and that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, when it's super wet like this, you wished you were there 5 days ago. Now, this backyard is the same thing, okay? It's a mess, and in order to make it not a total disaster, I'm going back down the same row that I just mowed. I thought, the first few passes, I did it the traditional way, down and up the next row. But I'm like, even if I double cut that, it's still too clumpy. What I'm going to do is try and get most of the extra debris off to that chain link fence over there on the left. So that meant the first thick part of the cutting where I'm blowing the most stuff, like right about now, that is always aimed towards that fence line. And then I go back up and I'm blowing some back out into the middle of the yard, but it's already been cut there. So I'm not blowing that much out. So out in the middle, I can walk around with a blower and kind of clean up those clumps a little bit. And worst case scenario, I rake like the stuff over here by the fence line. And then, again, you got to do what you got to do. If you have to rake up a trash can of wet grass, well, it's going to be heavy, but it will make things look a lot better. Now, back here behind the house, I could have took a couple swipes with the big mower, which is something that I normally would do, but not in this situation. It was so soaking wet back here where I'm at right now. That whole area, I had to be very careful. I mean, it would have left mud tracks, tires. It probably got stuck back there. And I definitely wouldn't have used the Velke. Sometimes when things are super wet, the Velke with your body weight on it, with the small wheels on there, will destroy the turf a lot worse than the mower with the big wheels. So it's a good thing that I used a small mower back there. And also, there's no way I wanted any of that stuff to discharge against that white vinyl fence, because you can't get it off of there without hosing it down immediately. Like, you'd have to go like, hey, I got to hook up your hose, even though it just rained, and then spray off the fence. Because if you try and push it off with like a broom or even with your blower, it like streaks it, it smears it, and that's not cool. And if you just leave it, it could be there for 2 or 3 weeks.
Here I am back on my Friday route, right behind the fire department, and they're cutting the grass. Look at that. You got the fireman with his X mark walk behind. He was blowing grass all over the police cars. He didn't care. I was scared to film him. I was like, oh man, what if he sees me filming? He'd be like, what are you filming me for? I'd be like, I don't know. I just want to put you on YouTube, dude. Some of you freaks wanted to see more of the police cars. Well, let's go look at this guy's cut. Well, look at my cut. I did pretty good on that house over there. Yeah, pretty good. Going past a couple of the police cars. He didn't trim yet, but he's doing good. Hey, look at this. The Hummer. Let's just scope this thing out for a second here. I was trying to see what it said, but the cops were definitely watching me when I was out there, because that whole parking lot is under surveillance. They're like, what's he doing? Oh, it's that idiot guy that's always around town cutting grass. He's harmless. Just let him do his thing. But they're watching me. Hey, look at that. The detective got his car sprayed with grass by the fireman. Wasn't me. That's all I could say. Wasn't me.